Okay, Millie.
mariachi. Oh,
Okay, Millie, I
English.
ate mariachi. I ate mariachi.
No more tequila for Beto, please.
Okay, today we're going to be analyzing in English. Okay, so welcome to Christian Podcast. We're doing this in English. Forgive our broken English. Ni modo, we're going to be speaking
Our
about
little
immigrants.
accent.
A little accent. We know you love it. But it comes ad hoc. Because we're going to be speaking about this situation with Episcopal Bishop who gives sermon counseling Trump to have mercy. Okay, so we're going to be discussing this matter and this matter only. This is important, Millie. We're going to play the entire clip. Are you ready? What do you want to say before we start?
Help my heart, Jesus.
Okay, help your heart, Jesus. Perfect. That's a good start. Okay, so here we go. So this is the clip of the Episcopal preacher just recently, okay, right after Trump's inauguration. So this has been happening within this week. And look what happens.
Find it exciting? Not too exciting, was it? I didn't think it was a good service, no.
Pray
No, it wasn't a good service.
as a people and a nation. Not for agreement, Mr. President. Millions
Directly
have put their
addressing
trust in
Mr.
you.
President.
And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God.
Ooh! Millie, right there. I mean, she's already saying, you have mentioned God, basically. Mm-hmm. You mentioned God in your speech yesterday. Mm-hmm. His providential hand. So you basically said he rescued you from death, right? Because we know the bullet on the ear, right? So she's taking that into account to what she's about to say. Mm-hmm. This bishop, priest, or whatever she is. And then, by the way, I'm going to grok what an Episcopal bishop is, because I don't know what that is, but I'll tell you right now in the video as we go over this. But that right there, she's appealing to, like, we're speaking about God right here.
In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives.
What's your reaction to that, Millie? There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children
That's insane. I don't know one.
who fear for their lives.
I don't know one transgender kids yet,
I think they're maybe like up in Santa Cruz.
right? But yes, have mercy of all of us. And
Yes.
not just Trump. Jesus, God, be merciful. Dude,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Okay, I mean, she's already making some controversial, for sure. And I mean, this is, I feel like my reaction at first, when I just, for the first time heard this, I'm like, okay, that's too much. They fear for their lives, okay? And I'm just taking it as raw. As I was hearing it, I'm like, that sounds like too much. People fearing for their lives. And I have a problem with admitting that there are transgender and lesbian, gay, like all these children. Okay, I have
Children,
a hard
we're
time.
talking about
I have a really hard time with that.
what is the range of age?
Yes.
Children's like my 13-year-old is a children, right?
And especially I feel like if there is an agenda and a pushing of ideologies, I'm like, oh yeah, they exist, but it wouldn't be happening if it wasn't because it's been pushed, at least in the last maybe 15 years or so, in the levels that we've seen, right? Through social media, in schools, like with all this thing. So that just shocked me right there, Millie, when she said that. But let's continue. Because let's just continue. Let's continue to see what she says.
And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they
cook
may
for
not be
you too.
citizens or have the proper documentation. But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals.
I agree.
100%.
I agree 100%. That's the thing. You know, like, okay, she started off on like, man, what are you talking about? You're crazy. To now she's speaking about us.
And let me
We're
tell you
Latinos,
something. They always
right?
think that the Latinos were the ones who they're cleaning their butts, caregivers. But we're podcasters too.
Or in immigrants.
And
yeah.
some people, they have their own business. How many
Yes.
of our friends, Beto, they have their companies super successful?
Yes.
Took them so many years, right?
Yes.
But now they have companies, and
Yes.
they're giving jobs to
other people.
We're not just cleaning or working on the fields. We're everywhere.
I think I wholeheartedly agree with what she's saying right there, Millie. I would say, I dare to say, the vast majority of immigrants come to this country
To work.
be contributors.
Yes.
To the country. For
Yes.
sure, I agree. There's bad apples everywhere.
And we
Right?
care about the law because we know that, yes, we're rocking the law by staying here, but we do everything close to do everything good. Like we pay our taxes, Beto.
Which she's about to say too. Okay?
We walk to the corner to cross the street, because we follow the rules. No, we
Yes.
we walk
Uh-huh.
to cross the street, not just cross in the middle of the street.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because up to this point, I'm like, yes, these people, we don't usually pay attention to them. I've witnessed it, Millie, because we go to restaurants and yes, you care about the food and the food is amazing, but you don't go inside the restaurant, Millie. We had a personal experience where, some family member was part of a restaurant. He was the manager. And I loved it whenever we went to his restaurant because every time we went, he brought the cook outside and he introduced
We
him to
thank
us.
him, yeah.
And we thank him. And guess who he was? He was a Latino guy, probably immigrant from Mexico, from somewhere in Latin America. And he cooked
Like
delicious.
25 years of experience.
25 years
cooking,
of experience.
Resting one day out the week, right?
Yes.
Because they have
serving high-end food to high-end people, right? That people don't usually see him because who's been the mostly benefited by the restaurant?
And
Let me just finish. Who's been mostly benefited by the restaurant? The owner, right? Not the cook. So we don't usually tend to look at people who do those type of jobs. So she's saying the people that pick our crops, Millie, your family is from McFarland. If people are not familiar, they have seen McFarland USA.
Watch the movie, it's great.
Go watch the movie, right, with Kevin Costner about fruit pickers in the middle of California, right? That's real. That is real. Like if you go there, it's 99% Mexican people who pick the crops that serve food for the entire, at least the state of California and probably other states, right? That is 100% true. So I agree with her on that.
They pay taxes.
They pay,
And our neighbors.
yes. They pay taxes, Millie. The first thing they say as an immigrant, start paying taxes because one day when you have your documents, and this is true to many immigrants I know, Millie, they were once undocumented and now they're not. So pay attention to that because not every immigrant stays undocumented forever. And they had been contributing to this. Like we know probably thousands of friends who now have their papers and they're contributors to society.
How they pay taxes if they don't have a social security number, Beto?
They have an
That's
ITIN number.
impossible.
They have an ITIN number.
It is not.
So this is true. We pay taxes. We have a business. We pay taxes. Okay.
They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples.
Probably true. Temples,
I ask you to
yes.
have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away. And that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands.
Okay, right there, she's appealing to refugees, right? Like, I mean, the case for refugees. We just spoke with, remember, Violet and Olga. They have a new movie called Between Borders. It's coming out on the last weekend of January 2025. And they share their story, right? They came as refugees from Baku, Azerbaijan. Now they're faithful worship leaders in their community. They're people who contribute. They're people who love God. They're people who love people, right? They're contributing positively to their community. So in this, I mean, right now I'm agreeing with this bishop, right? At the beginning, it's shocking, when she's like transgender and like LGBT, like all that sort of stuff. That is shocking, right? And I have some controversy within myself because of that, right? Like I said, I don't believe children are like that, but I understand that in the stage we're in, there are children that are like that. Okay? So I'm agreeing with her so far. Let's see what she says.
To find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger. For we were all once strangers in this land.
That we are to be merciful because we were all once strangers in this land.
So true.
Wow.
So true.
Wow, Millie.
And some people, they don't recognize that.
Yes.
It's sad.
Okay, so here's the thing, Millie. I think she's appealing to the wrong guy, though.
Oh.
Okay?
See, when she was praying, I was like, Jesus? Because
Right.
he's our president, right?
I mean, it's good. It's good that she's calling out. I mean, and some people say, "Oh, yeah, she's speaking truth to power." And I think that's where this whole thing that the controversy of it is coming right now. Like, yeah, she's putting Trump in his place. But I think everything that she said so far, that we should be merciful, I think that's 100% true. Like, if you go to scriptures, yes, Jesus and God invite us to be merciful. And actually, there's a verse, Millie, that I have right here. I just want to show it so that you know.
But also...
But let me show you. It says, "What then shall we say?" This is Paul. "Is God unjust? Not at all. For he says to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I have compassion." I think that's who she should be speaking with. And we should be speaking with. Yes, I mean, I lean a little bit more conservative, Millie, and we're in a Christian podcast. I think, some people just think of us as conservatives just by default. But I feel like if there's someone to ask for mercy, it's God. It's God. I mean, yes, you can speak to Trump in that sense. And I love the fact that she, at the beginning, said, Trump, you mentioned God, and you mentioned that he saved and spared your life from death, imminent death. So I like the fact that she's kind of like, appealing to him in that sense.
Sounds like you're praying to him.
Yeah. Right? And I think God is the one who will have mercy on whom he will have mercy.
I would like, the message probably would be better if I'm preaching who is Jesus, Who
is Jesus, Millie?
A merciful God.
Yes.
So that would be a good service where, like, let me show you. Look, let me remind you who is Jesus. And if you're saying that you love God and you want to follow him, this is who is Jesus, and we need to be like him, right?
Yes.
But I think it's a good reminder for Trump, because she is speaking directly to him. He's there, everybody. God works in mysterious ways too.
Yes. Now, the question is, will Trump be teachable? Because I think the answer was, I didn't like that service. And here's another lecture for many of us listening.
Nobody likes to
be told off.
Yes,
right?
Yes, preach to me who Jesus.
Yeah,
and probably it would catch something, but don't tell me what to do.
Yeah,
and be merciful because he thinks that he's doing that. Don't you think?
I think all of us, like none of us, maybe want to be corrected, or correction when it first comes, it shows up and it bothers you, right? So my real prayer and honest prayer is for Trump to be teachable, right? To be humble enough to say, is there any truth in what she said? And can I take into account some of the stuff that she kind of like pleaded for me to have mercy, right? Because it's true. At the end of it all, I mean, we're immigrants and we're kind of like voicing out our own opinion from that lens. But I see it really like it's pretty evident and clear. Most immigrants are here to contribute. I would say the vast majority. And even if this is just some claim that I want to just make, okay? There's according to what I've heard for the last 20 years living in the United States, there's about 11 million illegal immigrants.
Wow.
Okay, 11 million. In a country of 300 million people. Okay, would you say that 11 million illegal immigrants have the power to disrupt what it's 11 million is what, maybe like, let's just say 5% of the population, which is not, but it's less than that. But let's just say 5% of the population. Do you really think 5% of the population have the power to change what the 95% of the population are already doing?
It's a lot of responsibility.
Right?
It's crazy.
Yeah. So that just mathematically doesn't make sense to me. That 5%, when most of us, I would say, are contributing in a positive way out of those 11 million. Right? Now, for sure, to the people that are saying, no, there's bad apples. Yeah. We have to deal with bad apples, and maybe deportation is one of the ways in which we have to deal with bad apples. Like, I agree. Right? But I think, like I said, you may start, and this is a conversation I had with someone who was serving directly under George Bush, Millie. Remember Rebecca Contreras? We had a show with her. And she said, I met people, Beto, who came to this country and were, barrenderos? How do you say it? Sweepers. They were sweeping the trash and stuff, like janitors. And now they're multi-million-dollar company owners and stuff like that. They contribute. They're part of society. They accomplish their American dream, right? So she said, and I love the way she said it, don't ever think that where you started is where you're going to end up.
Amen. Yes,
and I want to take that, and really just kind of like almost like proclaim it, that for some people that are listening, that maybe right now the voice out there is, be afraid and we're coming after you. And maybe you came to America with a dream, and your dream is to contribute. Your dream is to be a part of this society. Maybe your dream is to attain an American citizenship. I'm saying, I'm almost like pleading to you, ask God for mercy.
Yes.
On us. Yes. As a maybe Latino community, maybe as an immigrant community, maybe as a refugee community, ask God for mercy, and maybe he will do the work in people like Trump and people in these levels of influence and action. Maybe God will listen to our prayers collectively and do something in our favor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's the only way, Beto. That's why we don't have fear, because we believe in this higher power who is protecting us, right? Somebody texted me this morning and said, like, just watch out, be careful, be aware of what's going on outside. Of course I'm aware. I'm trying to, for me, just focusing who is Jesus and what he did for me and what he's doing for me. And we know as a believers of Jesus Christ, Beto, that whatever happened to us is for our good. Even when the evil meant to be for wrong or bad, God would turn it for our good. So I believe that, and we just share to you that, the best we can do is just to point you to Jesus, who cares for you, who loves you, and who really have grace and mercy for all his people. He loves is big for us.
Amen. How beautifully said, Millie. Okay, lastly, I just want to say, like, what is an Episcopal bishop? This is like the educational part of the show before we say bye. An Episcopal bishop is a leader within, and I'm just grokking this, okay? Grok is like Google, but from Elon Musk on X. Is a leader within the Episcopal Church, which is part of the Anglican Communion. Here's how it differs from Protestant and Catholic bishops, okay? Because I didn't know, so I just want to educate myself. Role, Episcopal bishop. Bishops in the Episcopal Church are responsible for overseeing a diocese, which is geographical area that includes several parishes. Okay, so they govern a region within the Episcopal Church. They ordain priests and deacons, confirm new members, and serve as spiritual leaders. Okay, so similar to a Catholic bishop so far. Selection, bishops are typically elected by clergy and laity from within the diocese and from elsewhere in the Anglican Communion. Doctrine: the Episcopal Church adheres to the historic episcopate, but it's known for its inclusivity. Okay, so that's a big distinctor, and maybe that's why she was mentioning, transgender kids and LGB and all that sort of stuff, allowing for a broader interpretation of doctrine compared to more traditional branches of Christianity. Thank you, Grok, for making that distinction. Comparison with Protestant bishops, diversity. So basically the same thing, right? Protestantism encompasses a wide variety of denominations, each with different governance structures. Not all Protestant denominations have bishops, for instance. Baptists do not, while Methodists and Lutherans do. Right? Right? In our church, which I consider myself more non-denominational, but we're part of a Baptist church, and that's true. We don't have bishops in our church, but Lutherans do. So wow, now we know. Methodist bishops, for example, within the Protestant bishops, are similar to Episcopal bishops. They oversee dioceses, conferences, but have more centralized structures in terms of church governance and Lutheran bishops. Okay, so that's just a distinction. And difference with Catholic bishops, I'm assuming it's kind of like based on the same. Must enforce Catholic doctrine uniformly. That's what Catholic bishops do. So basically, Catholic bishops make sure Catholics stay Catholic, right? Okay, so there we have it. What do you think, Millie?
I think it's a great opportunity for us to pray for our neighbors, for our community, for our state, for our country. But we need mercy. We need Jesus in our lives. And of course, we need to open our hands to receive and give all the time, and His grace and mercy will come to us all our days of our lives. Yeah.
Qué bonito dijo. See you guys on the next one.
Ciao.
Ya. Ah, sí de fácil.